Big news coming out of the telecom world, and it's sending shockwaves through the industry. Verizon is reportedly planning its largest ever round of layoffs, with about 15,000 jobs on the line. That's a massive 15% of its entire workforce. This move comes as the company faces some serious challenges and looks to dramatically reshape its future under a brand new CEO. So, what's behind this huge decision? It all starts at the top. Verizon recently appointed Dan Schulman, the former boss of PayPal, as its new CEO. He's been on Verizon's board for 7 years, so he knows the company inside and out, and he's not wasting any time making his mark. Schulman has been very clear that Verizon needs aggressive change. He's talking about a fundamental restructuring of the company's costs, aiming to make it a simpler, leaner, and scrappier business. The layoffs are expected to happen as soon as next week and will primarily target the non-union management ranks. Sources say more than 20% of that specific workforce could be affected. This isn't just about cutting office staff, though. Verizon also plans to transition around 180 of its corporate-owned retail stores into franchised operations, so you might see your local Verizon store change hands soon. The financial markets reacted immediately. Verizon stock actually rose about 1.4% on the news. This might seem strange, but investors often see large cost-cutting measures as a positive sign for future profitability. To put it in perspective, Verizon stock has been pretty stagnant for the last 3 years, growing only 8% while the S&P 500 skyrocketed by nearly 70%. The pressure has been building. This brings us to the why of it all. Why is Verizon making such a drastic move right now? The U.S. wireless market is incredibly competitive and mature. Growth has slowed down, and customers are getting more cautious, often hesitating to sign up for those expensive premium plans. Verizon has been feeling the heat from its main rivals, AT&T and T-Mobile, who have been aggressively competing for subscribers for a long time. Verizon's strategy was to be the premium provider with the highest prices. But Schulman himself has said that relying too heavily on price increases without growing the subscriber base isn't a sustainable strategy. He wants the company to become more customer-focused and stop the bleeding of customers leaving for other carriers, a problem known as churn. But how do you keep customers without hiking prices? One of the main ways is by offering subsidies on expensive new phones. To keep people locked into contracts, this is a very expensive strategy. And now, as one analyst pointed out, we know how Verizon plans to pay for it by making these massive cost reductions. The big question that remains is whether these cuts will be enough to cover the high costs of retaining customers, or if this is just the first step in a much longer and potentially painful transformation for the company. This isn't the first time Verizon has downsized. Over the last 3 years, they've already cut about 20,000 jobs. Just last year, they reduced their workforce by 4,800 through a voluntary program, and back in 2018, about 10,400 employees took a similar voluntary exit. But this new plan to cut 15,000 jobs is by far the largest single layoff in the company's history. This move follows a period of massive spending for Verizon. They dropped a staggering $50 billion on crucial C-band wireless spectrum in 2021. Spent $20 billion to acquire parts of Frontier Communications, and another $6 billion for the prepaid provider, TracFone. They've invested heavily in their network and services, and now it seems they're looking to balance the books by drastically cutting operational expenses. It's a bold and risky strategy. Making the company leaner could make it more agile and competitive. But it also comes at a huge human cost and raises questions about how these changes will affect customer service and company morale in the long run. We'll be watching closely to see how this all unfolds. What do you think about this move? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on major business and tech news, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.